Myles Garrett has requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns.
Welcome to Atlanta.
No, God. I know you wish that. Okay.
I do. And I said he was
you
gonna
do.
be out of Cleveland before he requested the trade too.
You did say that.
It's
You
true.
do get your flowers for that. Now,
But one of the best defensive ends is now on the market and wants out.
Not even the best defensive end. There's an argument, Eddie Money, for best defensive player in the league. I mean, he's in that upper echelon type. And you know what the crazy thing is that for a superstar like Myles Garrett, who comes off as a very good human being, as far as I know, right? I've seen him, with mic'd up and talking to guys. For some reason, he's getting a pass on this big time. Like everyone understands. Everyone understands. It's like, dude, we get it, right? We get it. We understand
Cleveland.
why you want out.
From there, and he wanted to leave. Like, yeah,
I'll tell you who my top two destinations would be, and it's not Atlanta. Number one, I would look at Detroit.
Yeah,
I think him and Hutchinson and Detroit, I think, has a lot of cap space. That, to me, that would be the best defensive end duo in the NFL. The other place, and I would hate this to happen, is him to go to San Diego and be with Jim Harbaugh, which is another team that has a ton of cap space, made it to the playoffs, and have a lot of upside with a good coach. Those are my two spots.
My number one is Washington.
Yes,
tons of cap space, and a defensive-minded head coach. You got a really good linebacker that's going to be playing behind you too. Like, I think it's a team on the come up for sure. Just made the playoffs, deep into the playoffs too, with a rookie quarterback. Right, they're one game away from the Super Bowl. So I think that Washington has a pretty good chance of potentially getting him. Honestly, I don't see Detroit getting him. I honestly see, not to go on a different caveat or another trade, but Cooper Kupp is going to be leaving the Rams. I see Cooper Kupp going to Detroit. That's where a landing spot I could see for Cooper Kupp, honestly. But that's just my thinking, because we're thinking of guys that are moving.
Eddie Money, you have a destination?
I think Washington was going to be mine because their offense looked so great in the playoffs. And their missing piece was defense, and now you have the chance to go get, like you said, arguably the best defensive player in the league. So you fire up that, and then you have a chance to really go to the Super Bowl for the next couple of years. The one place I would hate to see him go is the Chiefs, because I brought up the odds for them, and the Chiefs are the third; they're 6-1. I would hate for him to go to the Chiefs. That'd be absolutely terrible. But I also think that he doesn't want to go to some absolutely stacked roster where he's just another guy. I think he still wants to go to a team where he is a main contributor and leader there and makes a big impact.
I don't think he cares. I think he wants to win. And I think this is a case where I truly believe this is not a money move for Myles Garrett. This is
he needs some sort of
this is somewhere where he wants to go win. And that would
the other place I was thinking is Minnesota.
Minnesota too,
because it kind of the value would be there, at least for the Browns, in wanting a quarterback. And even if they were to take Sam Darnold, right, like he'd be a bridge guy for them until maybe, who knows, comes out of the draft, or comes out of the draft next year. Because this year's quarterback draft isn't very good. So say you trade Sam Darnold and some future picks that you can kind of recoup from the horrible trade with Deshaun Watson to get back into kind of that top. I mean, they're in the top this year, which they can get some really good guys, obviously, but you can recoup even more picks from the Vikings. Say you do make that trade, because you're gonna get some number one picks. You certainly are.
Oh yeah.
And if Sam Darnold isn't the guy, then you're in the top spots. Plus, you have these extra picks from the Vikings as well that you can kind of rest your hat on. So it serves as a need. If you don't get you're probably not going to get your franchise quarterback this year in the draft. You can get that bridge guy in Sam Darnold and maybe look for a guy next year. So that was the other place that I was thinking that the Vikings might be a spot for, because they were, I mean, they were a contender, right? And they think that McCarthy is better than what Sam Darnold gave them this year. And Sam Darnold gave them 12 wins. So, and a playoff spot. So that's certainly a viable option for Myles Garrett.
And Brian Flores, defensive mind, terrific. Anywhere Brian Flores has coached defense, it's been incredible. And
Genius.
Then Daniil Hunter on the other side, that takes that defense to another level. So I do agree. What's the odds for Minnesota? Any money?
What? 20-1.
20-1. So who's number one?
Cowboys at 4-1.
See, Rafa said this. I don't. They said he grew up he grew up a Dallas fan.
But he also said he wants a championship, and a Dallas fan would know you're not in championship contention. You're not. They're certainly not. I'm sorry. We went over the head coach and I do think that it's a punt. It is a punt on everything this year. It's I'm sorry to say it, but you're gonna have Belichick leaving good old Chapel Hill next year. His buyout drops from 10 million to 1 million. He'll have a year where he's in college, and then they discuss the contract over the next season and figure out exactly what it's going to be. They get rid of Dak. They get rid of Brian Schottenheimer. It probably send him back to being a coordinator, because that's where he deserves to be, or at least everybody thinks he should be. And it's just they'll refresh in a year or two. Bring in Arch Manning. Get your quarterback there. Arch Manning comes out in 2 years. That's what's going to be. Right. Maybe you have Brian Schottenheimer be your bridge guy for a year or two. Bring in Arch Manning after Dak's contract is no more, at least not something that's going to hit your cap space as much in 2 years.
Yeah.
And if Dak brings you a championship, then good, more power to you. But you'll still have leverage to get rid of Dak in 2 years, because Dak only wants 4-year contracts anyway. He doesn't want 5-year contracts. He hasn't signed a 5 years since he was a rookie.